Aries is the crusader. This is what's crazy. This is what's crazy. Where do you want to be bold and stand up? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Big, booming, loud. You know, it's sticks of dynamite, my friend. Was I preaching? Hi, my friends. It's Meredith, your evolutionary astrologer. And today I have such a deep, profound, big, and hopefully very meaning video for you. We're going to talk about the massive, explosive ingress of Neptune having just left Pisces and moving into Aries. I know everybody's abuzz. Everybody's talking about it as they should. And you should learn all about what this actually means. Yes, the big picture, but also what this means in your own life and in your own chart. So what I want you to do is go look at your chart. This video is going to be very practical. It's going to be very boots on the ground. It's going to be very cut and dry. It's going to be fast and efficient. And what we're going to do is we're going to get right into that juicy meat right away. So where is 0 degrees Aries in your chart? Where is that place? Go look, go look. Hopefully you have your gorgeous natal chart. If not, you can go to shopsoulnavigation.com, buy a gorgeous natal chart from me, from my shop, support the channel, and get something absolutely gorgeous for yourself. So that 0 degrees Aries in your chart is absolutely critical. Now, here's the interesting thing. Neptune might still be operating in the same house that it was in during those last degrees of Pisces in your chart. So for me, the 0 degrees Aries, it does not change houses. So Neptune is still in the same exact house. It just has a new expression in that house, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about Aries expression, and then I want you to attach it to Neptune. And by the way, I have an entire workshop that I did in Spain on Neptune through the houses, and I go so deep. It's about 4 hours long. It's probably my very favorite workshop I've ever done. So if you really want to understand what is Neptune, what is the energy of Neptune through the houses, and Neptune can be your karmic contract. If you want to do some deep Neptune work, I highly recommend you go get that workshop and study Neptune in depth. But today we're going to talk about Neptune at 0 degrees Aries transiting through your chart. Now, I am going to do a bigger, broader meaning of just what does Neptune in Aries bring to all of us collectively. But this is about you, the individual, you, my sweet friend. Let's dive in. The meaning is going to shift. You're not going to feel this immediately. And the reason why is because you're going to be living with this expression and it's going to be unfolding for the next 12 and a half to 13 years. Neptune entered Aries at that 0 degrees on March 30th, 2025. So if you're watching this anytime between now and 2039, this video is still relevant. It's going to start at 0 degrees, and Neptune retrogrades a lot. It retrogrades about half of the year. So it takes a long time and it goes back and forth, but it moves very slowly. So you're not going to actually feel the impact of this for a little bit. I think that we could feel the 29th degree, Neptune at that 29th degree of Pisces for quite a while. That was pretty brutal. But we're going to talk about the differences of the Pisces and the Aries. But I want you to think of something kind of interesting. So this October, and I think it's October 22nd, 2025, Neptune's going to go back to that 29th degree, that perilous anaretic degree. And anytime a planet is sitting in the 29th degree of a sign, it is the anaretic degree. I hope you will watch my video on the power of the degrees because you need to know about the 0, the 15th, and the 29th degree. But it is in crisis. So in October, it's going to go back into retrograde to that 29th degree, and it's going to stay there till January. So this October 22nd through January 26th, 2026 is when it's sitting at that 29 degrees Pisces again. So get ready. I mean, just brace yourself for that time. Then January 26th, 2026, it goes back into Aries and it stays there until 2039. So if you're watching this video between now and 2039, it's still relevant, my friends. It's still relevant. This is what's crazy. Where do you have 0 degrees Aries in your chart? Because that is the very first day. That is the spring equinox. That is the big boom. That is the new year of the zodiacal wheel. Okay. That is truly the new year. I know we celebrate New Year January 1st, but really it's when the sun sits at 0 degrees Aries. This is Neptune's brand new first chapter. It's not even the chapter. It's the first word in the first chapter of its 165-year book. So Neptune's writing a new book. We literally just said goodbye to the world as we know it. And we started writing this brand new book. And this is the very first word. What do you think the very first word is? Is it once, like once there was, once upon a time, once my life, right? What is the very first word? I want to know. Leave me a comment. Is it oh shit, oh my, oh God, oh gosh, right? What is the very first word? Aries is ruled by Mars. We know Mars is the god of war, but I want you to also know that Aries is also the new life force. Just think about the emergence of life. Like when the plant is a bean and it pushes through the fertile soil and you see it for the first time, and it represents your fiery courage. So just think of a few things that Aries brings. It's the pioneer in you. It's the trailblazer. It's the maverick. It's the person that won't stand down. It is the part of you that is very, very brave and entrepreneurial. It is the part of you that will go at it alone, that will be very independent, that can be ruthless. It can go nose to nose, toe to toe, head to head. Yep. And it does rule the head. I also want to tell you it rules our physical bodies, our chi, our physical fitness, our sexuality, our sexual force to birth something new, fertility. So this is where you are highly fertile. And Neptune is many, many things. I will give you a bunch of keywords, okay, for Neptune. Neptune is funny because it wants peace at all costs, peace for all people. It's very emotional. It's empathetic. It's dreamy. It's intuitive. It has compassion. It is glamorous. It is romantic, seductive. It's sparkly. It's soulful. It's spiritual. It's tranquility. It is nirvana. It is meditative. It is clairvoyant, compassionate, blissful. It is adaptable. It is warm, witty, and wondrous, right? That is Neptune in its most endearing qualities. When it's unfavorable or unhealthy, I should say, then Neptune becomes dishonest, deceitful, a drifter, distraught, and it becomes manipulative, conniving, fake, false, illusions and delusions, and unstable, impractical, immature. And it's the identity theft, literally the stealing of your soul, if you will. And it represents a lack of will, a lack of willpower. Mental illnesses fall under Neptune. There is a self-destruction. There is a victim mentality. There is a weirdness. There is a wayward. There is a worrisome, wandering, unfocused, you get it, an addict. It's hyper emotional, hyper emotional. And it has an inferiority complex. It feels a sense of doom and can't do anything about it, is frozen in fear. Let's go through the houses because I want you guys to have all this information and I want it to be helpful to you. So I want you to think about wherever you have 0 degrees Aries in your chart right now with Neptune at that 0 degrees Aries. This is where you are being a divine warrior. This is where you have guardian angel courage. So the courage of a guardian angel, the courage to step in and help and be of assistance, the ability to see life from a sense of magnificence or enormity or opportunity for all in the sense of divine love, unconditional love for others. So it really is a justice, if you will, Mars wanting sort of to fight for justice with angel wings. Yeah, so this is where you're getting your angel wings. And I want to know, what do you want to birth or create or pioneer? Where do you want to be bold and stand up and live from this magnificence in your own life? We're focusing on you in this video. If you have got Neptune right now at 0 degrees Aries in the first house, this is really exciting because this is where you're really stepping into a spiritual strength, developing sort of a superpower in faith or in what you believe in or a connection to the divine or God. You are actually going to create such a divine, creative, and inspiring approach to life. And you want to be inspiring. You want to connect to the divine. And you also are going to step into sensitivity. This is the opportunity for these people to actually see that it takes strength to be vulnerable. It takes strength to admit your weaknesses. It takes strength and courage to confess the lie that you told. I'll tell you that there's also something pretty magical with this because you might need to sacrifice something in your own life to save another. And so this is sacrifice and savior energy. You might even become a little bit more tuned into what you idolize or the ideal life, and then build it, grow it, nurture it, foster it. Be courageous enough to live out the energy that your idealized life requires. You also might help others build a better life. You might literally lend your life force energy, your animation, your courage, your strength, your power to help others have sanctuary, sanctity, a home, a roof over their head. It's like very helpful to others to help advance humanity in some way, or to help advance other people along with yourself. I don't know, maybe you're going to open up a Habitat for Humanity, or maybe you're going to make the new dog park in your community. Maybe you're going to rescue animals. But this is where you will become highly, highly aware of things that go way beyond the physical reality, but you will use your physicality to step into the power and the strength to create a better world for yourself, and most likely for others whom need you. You're going to see that there's a great amount of people out there in the world that are not quite as strong as you with Neptune in the first. There is a guardian warrior angel in you. I have a friend who was born with Neptune in the first, but it was in Scorpio. This person was literally one of those guardian angels. I don't know if they still have them, but the men dressed in red that just were good Samaritans in the world and helpful to people in need. So this is a very good Samaritan role. What could go wrong with this? Where's the fallout? Loaning your energy so much that people steal it like a psychic vampire, right? Being way too helpful, way too out there, way too giving with your energy that you actually, it becomes used up and you become really exhausted and drained. So you have a certain amount of strength. Only use that strength that you have. There are plenty of people that could benefit from just the certain amount of strength that you have. You don't need to do more than what you are capable of doing. I'll also tell you, this is an opportunity, if this falls apart, there's an opportunity here to lose yourself. I don't know, getting on that savior train and wanting to save the world, and seeing that you actually do have limitations. This is a really strong position for your journey into enlightenment. And I cannot recommend enough, because the first house is so important, that if you do really want to understand Neptune in the first house and just Neptune in general, the power of Neptune, harnessing Neptune, if you are a huge Neptunian person, which by the way, you are, if you have 0 degrees Aries in your first house. But if you have Neptune on the ascendant or on one of the angles, or if you have a Pisces South node or a Pisces North node, or if you have a ton of planets in the 12th house, or if you have Neptune conjunct a primary planet, a personal planet like the sun or Mercury or the South node or the North node or Mars or Venus, oh my God, you are a Neptune, you have a strong Neptune chart signature. And I recommend you go get my Neptune workshop and you really start to master Neptune. Okay, so let's talk about Neptune at that 0 degrees Aries in the second house. This is very interesting because now we're talking about self-worth and we're talking about money. Right now, I think you're probably, and this is Venus's natural house, so you're going to want to avoid conflict. Neptune in the second house, if you have this at the 0 degree, if it's transiting here, okay, at 0 degrees, also if it's natal, but I'm really specifically talking about it being in Aries and being in the second house. There is something about wanting to avoid conflict a little bit, or the way you confront conflict is to negotiate a new deal. Try to stay grounded and reasonable. So it's not the same thing as the first house. Go listen to what I said about Neptune in Aries in the first house. It's very different here. Here, it wants to beautify. It wants to lead with love. It wants to lead with brokering a better deal. It wants to lead with harmony. It wants to literally, like if your company's going on strike, it wants to maybe pick at the line with a message or go to the table to negotiate a new contract, but it doesn't like conflict as much. I'll also tell you there's a whole new relationship to beauty here, and this is like the glamorous sign. So you'll see that there's a beautification emphasis with this, maybe with yourself, maybe with your life, maybe you're tired of living in a hovel. and you want to upgrade your house. You want to upgrade your beauty in the beauty that is surrounded by it. Maybe you want to plant more trees. Maybe you want to move from the city into the country so you can grow your own garden. This is very much the guardian angel warrior that grows their own food. There is also like a nurturing your soul at a very deep level with food, with plants, anything that is beautiful and financially. So there is also huge lessons that are coming to you. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's a fallout around wealth. What does it mean to be wealthy? Does it really mean that you have $400 billion in your pocket? And I also want to tell you that right now you're going to be developing a relationship to spirituality and finding security inside your faith, inside your divine connection. I want you to really think of your self-worth in the spiritual context because it's going to shift for you. You're going to be learning how to merge spirituality and financial wellness. So maybe making money through your spiritual endeavors. And maybe that gives you a great sense of self-worth. You might lead right now in the courageous journey of your life, blazing trails with spirituality, love, beauty, peace, harmony, and the arts. You may become extraordinarily creative in ways that you never even imagined. So I think what is most exciting about this Neptune placement is that there's going to be a shift into developing your spiritual gifts, and you're going to start to find your value through your spiritual gifts. And I think you're also going to be presented with opportunities where you find and develop a new kind of happiness other than financial happiness or other than a belief system that money generates happiness and you're not just living for the job. So there's new spiritual creative inroads. Think of yourself as the creative warrior, right? The creative spiritual warrior. So this is quite an exciting placement. And I don't necessarily think this always means a loss of money or the lost soul with money. Yes. Could you gamble your money away? Yes. Could you drink your money away? Yes. Could you pour your money into a money pit? Yes. Well, you're too wise for that. Why? How do I know that? Because you're watching this channel. You're doing this work. Do things that really grow your sense of value. Like, I am of value on earth. I am helpful to others. You might also develop a business that is a little bit spiritual in nature. Like, I have one of these clients who I absolutely loved, and she's in Minnesota and she rescues animals. And she said it was actually quite hard work, but it is spiritual work. And that's how she earns a living. She has a rescue farm. And it's just absolutely fascinating. I hope she's watching this because she really touched me, and she is a guardian angel, and she should be financially rewarded for that work. Like, I want her to, but that is not her main motivation. So I would also say lean into your creative spiritual gifts and start to cultivate them. Okay, let's talk about Neptune at that 0 degrees Aries in the 3rd house. So you are going to have an emphasis now to be more bold in your thoughts, to be more bold in what you're learning, to be more bold in your faith and your belief system. And you might even start to speak about it differently, write about it, teach about it. You might launch a podcast, develop a website. You might give seminars, go to seminars. You might study new mentors and new teachers. This is a very mystical, metaphysical, magical, transcendent placement. And so there is a curiosity for enlightenment. There is a curiosity to study the Dalai Lama, to maybe join a monastery, to understand the world of elementals. This is a time when you might want to pursue astrology at a deeper level. This is a time when you want to transcend just living in the mayhem of negativity that exists around you, just always being mired in the negative thought process. So this is kind of like developing the ability to become empowered through positive self-talk. This is very, very motivational teacher energy. I want to tell you that your mind is about to become so radically opened. There's a real opportunity for genuine enlightenment with this particular transit. Bold enlightenment. This could be you deciding, to give up your California corporate job and go to Israel and help and live on a kibbutz. Like, this is a part where you could really pilgrimage into blazing new trails for yourself, to walk the Spanish Trail. I want to tell you that you might receive divine messages, divine clairvoyance, clairaudience, mediumship skills, do hands-on healing, Reiki, hypnotherapy. There's going to be a part of you that wants to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. See, Neptune makes us see compassionately the underdog, and Aries wants us to champion for that underdog. So you might take a definite stand on issues that you want to be massively vocal about. You also are going to be a person who can study the facts, who wants to know the facts. Aries in the third house wants to know the facts, but Neptune is the storyteller and can compassionately tell the factual story in a colorful way that inspires or moves others. Oh my gosh. You will become led from deep within yourself to think differently, to write differently, to speak differently, to share yourself, to share your energy differently. I also want to tell you, you might go on short trips all the time into a spiritual pilgrimage. Like, is there a waterfall trail? Is there a monastery? Is there a temple? Is there a place in your life where you feel like you connect to the divine energy that's just a short trip away? I want to also tell you that you might become a communicator for animals that can't speak, the trees that cannot talk, right? Or people that really need an advocate. This could be very serious guardian angel advocacy work. This is a time when you are going to birth the ideas that come from your soul. And this can be a real dissolution of ego and having to be right. You might start to see that, life is more, it's more about differences than it is about similarities, because it's in the third house, which is Gemini's house, but this is Aries. And so you're willing to see more perspectives and learn more diverse theory. So let's just say you were attached to one sort of belief system, and now you might be scratching your head saying, I've never considered this belief system or this belief system or this belief system. I gave an astrology reading to somebody this week, and he said, I'm a Christian. Will this interfere with me being a Christian, getting this reading? I was like, absolutely not. Evolutionary astrology has room for everybody, opening up your mind to other faiths. Neptune in the fourth house is very interesting, very deep. And I was born with this placement, and I do believe this placement creates psychic premonitions. This is a very, very, very sensitive time in your life. This creates a very sensitive soul. The fourth house is the underbelly. It is so sensitive. With Aries here, you are literally going to want to save people from pain. This is Florence Nightingale. I also think that you're going to blaze numerous trails into seeing that we are all interconnected, because this is the great merge in the fourth house. It's roots and heritage, and your roots and your heritage, and discovering, making new divine and spiritual discoveries about your roots, your heritage, where you came from. This is sort of a portal into the past life work. So working on your past life might be a theme right now for the next 13 years. I want to tell you, there might be a shift in your family. You might find a new spiritual family, a new spiritual tribe, a new spiritual community that actually is more in alignment with the truth of who you really are deep down on the inside than your family. But it's very difficult, though, when you have Neptune in the fourth, to abandon your family even a little bit. You might see that your family with Neptune in the fourth really needs you and enmeshes with you and merges with you. But you might not find all of your joy in that enmeshment. You might still need a spiritual family. And I'm so grateful that I've got you. I'm so grateful. I absolutely love this astrological community. And oh my God, we have 4 spaces left, only 4. We sold 1, we had 5, now we have 4. If you want to come and learn with me on May 15th, 16, 17, and 18 of this year, right here in my hometown in Seattle, Washington, where we have beautiful Christmas trees all year round. And we have snow-capped mountains and glistening lakes, the Space Needle, and the most beautiful group of souls learning astrology with you. And we will get to meet. So I hope you might consider come learning with me in person. It's going to be riveting. You should check out my curriculum. You can go to shopsoulnavigation.com and you can click on workshops and retreats, and you will see what I'm teaching in May. It's absolutely going to blow your crown chakra off. It is so good. Okay, let's keep talking. This is a time when your heart really wants to feel secure and it wants to feel safe. And so if you're in an unsafe relationship, you might choose to leave it. This, as I said, is a super psychic placement. I mean, this is super psychic. So you could be developing a psychic sense, a sixth sense right now, which could be really, really cool. Don't be afraid of it. Just invite it and let it in and see what divine answers are brought to you. I also want to tell you that you could feel homesick or you could feel like your home isn't quite right. Getting a tranquil home is really, really important to you right now. There could be some illusions around your family or your house, literally your house. You might think that I'm crazy, but I do feel like you could see entities, you could communicate with people who are from other galaxies, see the truth about yourself. You could really do egoless work where you really move out of that ego. Now, I know Aries has a very strong ego, but see, Neptune is dissolving that Aries energy. You could also lend your strength to yourself, to your family, to those in need, to animals, plants, trees, the water. This might be a time when you really develop a deep relationship with water. And also, I want to talk to you about fire. What does fire tolerate? What does fire tolerate? Not much. Fire incinerates. Whatever fire touches, it destroys. Think about Aries as a great destroyer, and Neptune erodes. So Neptune washes things away. Water is very erosive, right? If I poured water on my desk or my keyboard, it would ruin it, right? It would destroy it. It's a different kind of destruction. And so we have two great eroders. And so Aries is, sort of intolerant. It incinerates, and then we have an erosion. And so with the fourth house, there's an erosion of the false self, really trying to remove the ego to heal the soul. This is a very healing energy. And I kind of want to invite you to not just give all your energy away by saving others and animals and plants. Yes, I think you'll be drawn to that. And that's very, very beautiful. In truth, it's also about nurturing self, your heritage, your roots, your life, yourself, your internal self, the depth of you. All right, my friends, let's talk about Neptune in the fifth house. So if you have that 0 degrees Aries in the fifth house, Neptune will be transiting in your fifth house. And again, it might have already been in there with Pisces, but with Aries, it's going to be a little bit more bold. Now we're in a fire house, right? And so now you're going to have an opportunity to be a massive creative maverick, if you will, and your creativity can really benefit the greater good. So how does your artistic revival or your artistic expression or your creative ways or your creative thinking, your creative inspiration benefit others or benefit the world? I don't know. Sometimes when I am scrolling like on TikTok or on Instagram, I see the most creative comments and it really puts a light bulb in my head. Something like that, where there is just a creative, ingenious energy that wants to be birthed inside of you. And I'll also tell you that this is a time when you can really blaze new trails with the ideal romance or love affair. There's also going to be opportunities for you to really stand in a spotlight, to really shine the light. Now, ferociously, I think there is ferocious energy, I should say, around learning how to be authentically and uniquely you. Where are you getting more independent, more courageous, blazing more trails, if you will, being a maverick, going first, being bold, being fiery, being sort of unthreatened, being sort of a badass queen that you are around the question, who am I really? And being that person who you really are. I also want to say that this is fire. This is all fire. And so there is real bold, childlike, fun, all out, playful energy, joining games, creating games, I don't know, buying season tickets to baseball or football or volleyball or women's soccer or women's basketball, or joining a team, joining a game. So what new team is helping you get in alignment with your creative superpowers? Unabashed, unapologetic self-expression. This can bring you immense joy, just sheer joy on euphoric steroids, right? And you could actually lose yourself in the joy of it all, the joy of life. For real, this is really, really massively fun and unusual and different. You have to be kind of careful to not lose yourself in the gambling of life or the video games of life or the shopping of life or over drinking, overeating, because it can be exhilarating. And we know that Neptune has a lot of illusions. For example, Mick Jagger has Neptune in the fifth house. Look how massively creative he is. And look at how he's changed the world. Your creativity, actually, when you share it with the world, it's not just for your own fame and fortune. This is for your contribution in a way to helping light the world up in their own passion. So your passion helps the world light up in their own passion. There is an incredible set of talents, crafts, and skills inside of you can use to make new meaning out of the power of your life. So this is a very powerful life force energy. Now we're working with the energy of Aries and Leo. I know you have Aries there, but this is Leo's house. And so there is something where you, my friend, can make a giant difference in your own life with your own magnetic, radiant energy. You are sort of king of the jungle, but removing the ego and coming instead from the authentic self. So let's say you wanted to be, I don't know, a fashion runway model, right? Now that might feel like you have to wear too much of a mask to do that. And instead you want to become something different. I don't know, maybe a consultant helping others survive that particular industry and the hardships, right? Or maybe you want to expose the truths of the hardships in that industry to help other women. That's what I'm saying. It's like getting really real, removing the mask, standing in your raw gifts and talents, using them in a creative way that creates a promising path for yourself. Authenticity. Your ego will probably be melted away, shattered, lost, let go. It will be readjusted over the next 13 years. You just watch. I cannot wait to see what this brings you. This is pretty magical. Okay, let's talk about the sixth house. You might change your work to be more spiritually meaningful. And we can see that our work does not just serve us personally, like, oh, I brought home a paycheck. But if you are a nurse, a doctor in the health field or health industry or whatever you do, it doesn't matter if you're the person who works at the gas station, it doesn't matter, or the grocery store or the Taco Time or the Taco Bell. You see yourself in service to life, and it's pretty magical. You also will get to see your power in this world. Your health could take on a new concept, body, mind, and spirit alignment. Maybe studying yoga, Tai Chi, the healing arts in some way. Instead of leaning into your daily routine of chores, you're learning into your spiritual routine of discovery, sharing your spiritual discoveries with others to help them, to assist them, to hold their hand through life. There's also a play here. It's to understand the rage and the peace, and how rage, Aries, right? The anger, what are you pissed off about? And the peace that you desire, or the peace that you also have. And it's learning how to channel the rage into highly productive energy that can create more peace. That's kind of the number one thing I want to give you, because that's sort of the magic and the gift in this. Also learning how to be boldly in service for self and for others for the improvement of life. So whenever you have planets in the sixth house, this is a placement of, we want to improve things. So how can having faith, having Neptune, if you will, the dream, right? How can you propagate the dream for self and for others? How can you stand in the spiritual faith of life, your spirituality, your divine connection, your psychic sight, hypnotherapy? How can you stand in the Neptune things courageously to improve life in the daily existence of your own life and daily existence for others? What could you do? Like, I think of the muralist who, put this gorgeous, fun mural on a side of a building in the industrial part of Seattle. And just the joy that mural brings because they painted it. That's kind of an example of Neptune in the sixth. It's also standing in your creativity on a daily basis. Also not being afraid to work hard at your spiritual gifts. Spiritual gifts are not just handed to you. They're not just given to you. They're not just like bibbity bobbity boo. No, sometimes we have to, if you want to be a really good preacher in a church, you kind of have to practice. You don't just stand up there. First you probably have to read the doctrine in which you believe in. And then in order to teach it in a way that is meaningful, profound, and moves other people, takes some work, right? So working your spiritual gifts is really, really important. What can go wrong with this is that you lose faith in your life, in yourself, in your daily life. You can feel like, gosh, all this that I'm doing, this energy around Aries warrior work, all this that I'm doing to improve, to make things better, to create, to take risks, to be tenacious, to be ferocious, to be, unending in my pursuit. And it still doesn't turn out for me. So I lose my faith. That's what can go wrong with this. Don't let that happen to you, my sweet friend. Please don't let that happen to you. And by the way, I just want to invite you, if you would like to learn more about astrology, I really recommend you get my Soul's Design report. You get my child report. That's not just for children, by the way. I read that at 55 years old, and I decided to buy the software to generate those reports because it is so darn good and it is so deep. So go get the child's report. And if you haven't, by all means, you need to start with the starter package. So the Soul's Design report, child's report, the starter package. And I also love the unique chart rulers report that I sell all of those plus a lot more. Go check out all my reports and charts that you can get at shopsoulnavigation.com. It's a great way to learn about your personal placements, and you support Soul Navigation, and it's a great thank you. And you'll get something just absolutely priceless. You'll get to learn more about your own chart. Okay, let's go on into the 7th house. Neptune in the 7th house can be absolutely so fun, chasing the magical dream of your version of the knight in shining armor, your version of your soulmate connection. And you can be like really, you can draw in just the magical partner. And it is true. You can really attract the ideal mate, the ideal soulmate. You can attract soulmates. You can actually do soulmate work for others. You can do readings that have emphasis around soulmates and understanding love, understanding partnership at a spiritual level, not just what can you do for me, but how can we collectively partner together, and how can we create a spiritual bond that is deeper than a sexual bond, a physical bond, a mental bond, an emotional bond. A spiritual bond is just divine. It is unconditional. And so this placement can really amplify the beautiful things that already exist in our relationship, or teach us how to see our partner differently, how to remove our ego from what I want, what I want, and instead you receive that which you really need to grow, to become enlightened on this subject. I'll tell you, this is also a time for you to melt your ego around the illusions and the delusions that you have around love, around your partner, around your husband, around your wife, around your soulmate, and to get really authentic. Remember, Aries, go back to the 5th house where I was talking about the 5th house, the 7th house. It is about dissolving the ego. Aries has a very strong ego attachment. It's here to survive. It is here to fight, right? And Neptune erodes. So we have a fire sign in Aries, the incineration and the erosion of ego around what relationship means to you. You are probably not going to be attracted to partnering with those who are too broken for you. You might exhaust yourself by trying to love this person, breathe so much love into this other person that they become fulfilled, fixing and healing this other person, patching them up so that you can prop them up so they can stand next to you, carrying the other person's energy. It's very sacrificial. You could sacrifice yourself in the name of your partnership. So who are you sacrificing yourself for? Now, that's very much Pisces. So did Pisces, when Aries moved into Neptune at that 0 degrees Aries, did it move into your 7th house, or was it already there with when Neptune was in Pisces? Because if it was, you're going to approach fixing people up to make them good enough, if you will, to make them partnership material. You're going to approach that very differently. Like you're not playing anymore. You might be helpful, but now only to a point. Aries doesn't have as much time, as much empathy, as much energy, or as much compassion. They have strength, fortitude, and tenacity that Pisces doesn't have. You might have been willing to put up with more with Neptune in Pisces in the 7th, and now with Neptune in Aries in the 7th, it's like no more. There's a line in the sand. You can't cross it. If you cross it, I consider that abuse, or I consider that a deal breaker, if you will. You probably will still help heal other people. I want to offer to you. That's great. just as long as it's rewarding to you and as long as they're putting money into the meter as well. They're meeting you halfway, right? And maybe where you no longer are attracted to those who are dependent on your strength, on your ability. And I don't want you to be like foolishly altruistic. That is what can go wrong. But let me tell you, this is very, very beautiful too, because you can create magic with another person. I also want to tell you that you can meet people from the paranormal world and the supernatural world and from the other side. You could get insight into why you're attracted to whom you are attracted to. Why do you love the people that you love? Because you can get deep spiritual insight about the spiritual soul contracts that you have made. I think when this moves into Aries, well, it has moved in, but now I think you're going to experience that there's a deeper self-respect that you have for yourself. There's a deeper sense of your own independence separate from this other partner. The seventh house is how we share. And Aries doesn't like to share. I'm not trying to be mean. They like to do things on their own. They're very independent and they're learning how to share, but they don't necessarily love it. And so with Neptune here, you're really going to probably have sharing or have to share or want to share might change your relationship around the concept of sharing. And you might see that the whole study, the whole pursuit of sharing your life, sharing your body, sharing your mind, sharing your resources, sharing yourself, sharing your knowledge is different now. And you might blaze new trails inside partnership. Partnership is just sharing. And so I'm really wondering how this is going to show up for you. And you're also going to see another lesson with this placement is about learning how to adapt to life, adapt to others, where you're going to want to take your rage, take what infuriates you, take your pissed off energy, take everything that makes you want to go to war, if you will, go to war with yourself, go to war with your family, go to war with your partners, go to war, just that Aries part of you. And how can you broker new deals out of partnership, unity, fairness, diplomacy? So this is Venus's other house, but this is Venus's mind. This is the intellectual Venus. You could really blaze new trails creatively right now, because this is the other house of the arts. The very last thing and the most important thing that I want to say about the seventh house is right now there is a very strong and passionate, fiery desire to find that unconditional love out there inside partnerships. It can be daunting. And the point is to not lose the faith if that does not happen in the form in which you want it to happen, in the time that you want it to happen, in the way in which you want it to happen. We get really discouraged with timelines, right? Like we want it on our timeline. And so not getting devastated, not losing the faith, not losing your power of having faith that you are bringing in the one, or that your partner can shift or change if they can, or that you might be best finding that elsewhere. So this is a big relationship shift for you. And I'm kind of excited to see what you manifest out of it, because you are working with God's hand. Even if it's hard, it's meant to improve. Okay. The eighth house, when we have Aries in the eighth house, Aries and Neptune at 0 degrees in the eighth house, this is really about doing some very deep work. And this is like, the shadow work is spiritual work. And so really understanding the parts of our lives that are painful and learning how to break old patterns that create sabotage for ourselves. This is about becoming like painfully truthful about self, about our psyche, about the psychological makeup of our souls, about our wounds, about our envy, about our jealousy, and coming maybe up close in touch with the defeats in our life, and how actually taking an inventory, how where you once felt defeated actually created your success. I know I have that. I felt utterly defeated in a major theme in my life, only to realize in my wisdom that it has served me as a blessing and has created gifts and talents and skills that I would have never found if I didn't have to. So this is kind of the house of extreme. And it is Mars's house. And so Aries likes being here, but Aries doesn't particularly like being in Neptune. And I'm going to do a whole video about what Neptune in Aries is bringing us and what it actually means for the collective. But right now, I just wanted to keep this deeply personal. And this is one of the most personal houses of the entire zodiac. So I want to tell you that you might actually, during the next 13 years, help somebody pass away. You could be in the same position where you're in the taxi cab when somebody's giving birth, and you might help somebody be born born. So this is life and death in this house. You could also find that your sexual bond with another person becomes deeply spiritual, transcendental. This could be Kundalini sex. There can be also an opportunity to find yourself inside of the mystical, occult, the cosmic sphere of life, and understanding the truth about life, the bigger truth outside of yourself, but also the deeper truth within you. And I'll tell you that you might discover that there's a real ego death at this time. So a death of your identity, of how you have seen yourself, how you have known yourself to be. You might find that you need to get yourself out of your most intimate relationship. You might see that there is loss around your intimate relationship, but there is also a rebirth of something probably even bolder and bigger and better because it's Aries. You're supposed to attract really positive intimate relationships, being able to, again, like the fifth house, remove the mask and get into the soul's calling, the soul's work where you bear it all. That is the courage of Aries. That's what the courage of Aries is asking Neptune to do in this house, is to like bear your soul, maybe even find a partner or a person who you can bear your soul to. It's doing that deep psychotherapy work on yourself in order to transform, and your transformation can create a helpfulness to others who also want to transform. This is the person who, I don't know, goes to the prisons and inspires people who have done something wrong in their life, or maybe not, maybe innocent people are in prison too. And this is the person who inspires those people to keep their faith, and maybe even is a great transformer for those people who have been incarcerated, or feel like they're at the end of their rope or rock bottom, or have no choices or no options. So you might be stepping into your bold guardian, earth angel, savior. But I really want to say it's kind of like the guardian angel with the superpower of transformation for self and for others. You might see gruesome things with this placement, and you might also find the spiritual beauty inside the gruesome moments. You might see you really can handle the most difficult things in life, and you can do it with a divine love, with a kinship, a feeling of kinship, with a feeling of depth, compassion, and deep, deep empathy. This is a transformer, but this is also very much a savior placement too. I don't know if you guys all know who Amanda Knox is, but she has this placement. And I mean, when her roommate, Meredith Kirshner, got murdered, stabbed in her dorm room that they shared at the university in Italy. And Amanda Knox was imprisoned, and then she was exonerated. She lives here in Seattle. I wonder how this woman can even live through a day, right? Amanda Knox has Neptune in the 8th house. And I also want to say Whitney Houston has this placement too. And sadly, Whitney didn't get to transform her life at the very, very end. I do think she transformed it into world's greatest singer, but then she became lost to it. And Amanda Knox, I mean, her whole life was transformed. So that sometimes this is like finding the faith, finding the beauty inside those moments of despair and hopelessness. This doesn't have to be completely dark. I know I'm probably sounding a little bit darker than I want to, but this is creating or finding the light in the darkness. The darkness does not stand a chance in the light. The darkness does not stand a chance in the light. So it is your opportunity to become that light with the greatest force, the greatest might, the greatest ability that you have, and to be that luminescent light in the world of darkness. So you are the good fortune. You are the penny found in the middle of nowhere. You are the berry that a person can eat when they've been stranded in the wilderness for 5 days. I remember this lady, I just watched this news article about this lady who she crashed her car and it rolled underneath a bridge, and she was not seen for 5 days. She didn't know how to survive. Well, I guess it rained, and she was smart enough to capture a little bit of rainwater in her jacket, in her hoodie that she was wearing, and she sucked on her hoodie, and that's how she survived. And so I thought, wow, she really was the light. She was her own source of light in this moment of darkness. In your life where you are despairing, how do you find the light? How do you keep the light alive? How do you keep the light lit? And it's inside keeping that flame lit that you transform yourself forever. So this is a very, 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 very powerful placement. When Pisces Pisces was in this house. If you also had this placement with Neptune and Pisces, you might have been more gullible, or you might have, your intuition might not have been perfect. It might have been muddied or clouded. With Aries here, I do think there's a little bit more straightforward ability to see exactly what's going on and to see the clarity and to not be tricked and to not just rest your laurels on good intentions, but to really see the truths of life, of people, of the dark shadow in the world at the collective level, but at the individual level too, and to lend your powers, to lend your ability to see, to understand, to know. And I will tell you, this is one of the more courageous placements of Neptune. Neptune in the 8th is just so remarkably courageous. So you're going to find a new kind of courage that's really quite beautiful. Neptune in the 9th. So if you have Neptune at that 0 degrees Aries in the 9th, it's interesting. Jupiter likes being in this house, but Jupiter and Neptune are friends in the zodiac because they are both co-rulers of Pisces. I think that there is a journey here, a journey to go way beyond your own self, to explore the truth of life and to have experiences that land inside truthfulness, not deception, not just illusions. You're going to be on a deep quest for the next 13 years or so for the true meaning of life, the cosmic truth, the divine truth, like what is God, what is religion, what is spiritual, what is religion and what is religious, and what is faith. And maybe you're going to dismantle the religion that you grew up with in a way, in a new way. Maybe you're going to explore it in a new way. Maybe you are going to find it again or let it go. There might be a spiritual quest or trek or pilgrimage that you are inspired to take right now. This is also, I want to tell you, this is the house of the athlete, the 9th house. You're usually really, really strong, the 5th house too. But with Neptune and Aries here, there's like wind beneath your wings. Like you can run faster, run farther, swim farther. There's just something magical. I wonder also if your athleticism now is going to move into a new genre or arena where maybe before you like to run and now you want to take jazzercise or Zumba or dance class. You are going to be divinely guided right now, divinely guided to the truth, to the oracle, to the place in which you can gather or garner the truth, to more truthful places. Your intuition and your instincts are going to take you to that crystal cave where you're going to learn something that's going to unlock your mind, your heart, your soul, your body, and the truth of your life. And so I don't want to say you're gullible at this time, but you certainly are thirsty on your quest for answers. So make sure you siphon through them on what really genuinely resonates with you. Right now, you might feel for the next 13 years that your soul's purpose is the quest for truth and living in, or I should say coming out of this era where everything has been fabricated and fictionalized and we don't know which end is the truthful end easily. We have to dig for the truth. You can actually become an inspirational force, divine force, guardian angel for others to figure out the truth, to speak the truth, to teach the truth, to picket for the truth, to march for the truth, to champion the truth. You can invoke, inspire, empower the masses. You, my friend, can become a very, very bold and brave spiritual teacher right now. You might be the person that says, I want to keep Anne Frank in the libraries. I want to teach this book. I want to teach the truth of Anne Frank's life. I don't want to whitewash it. I don't want to make Anne Frank disappear. She is an absolutely monumental, important person for every single human being to learn from. I don't want to be hidden from the truths of the sufferings of the Native American people done unto them by the white man and woman. Same with African Americans, so this is very much this placement, standing in our differences, wanting to speak the truth of those differences, being on a spiritual pilgrimage. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the truth that will find you is going to be something like, I'm not saying I have the truth, but it's going to be something like Neptune. And what is Neptune? Neptune finds the magic. Neptune finds that we are all one. Neptune removes the ego. You might find that your truth, the way that you were raised, the way that you were brought up is actually not the truth. I don't know, let's say you're Mormon, and God bless you if you are, but I have quite a few people who have come to me and they said, I used to be a part of the Mormon church and I really thought it was genuine and real and it was my truth, only to find out that that's not the truth at all. Now, if you're Mormon, great. I know so many good Mormons, oh my God, and I love them and let them have their belief system. But that's just one example of a religion vision that got too small for a few of my really good clients. It made their lives too small and it no longer aligned with them. So they pulled away from it. That could be what's happening to you right now. You might be pulling away from how you have identified with yourself. It might be your gender. It might be your religion. It might be your faith. It might be your belief system. It's whatever you were indoctrinated into. But what I love about this with Aries here is that you can be a mega massive motivational speaker for others, and you can use your insights to inspire and empower other people to find their insights, even if their insights end up in a different place than where your insights are. This house doesn't get offended too easily. So it's like, if you find that, I don't know, Mormonism works for you and it doesn't work for me, the ninth house has room for both beliefs. And it's really beautiful that way. There's an acceptance in the ninth house that I think is just gorgeous. You have a big booming possibility for a whole new inspired truth, a whole new inspired life, a whole new paradigm shift. I just don't want you to get indoctrinated into a new cult or a new dangerous thing, because that could happen. Granted, it's Aries here. So, and there is a fanaticism with Aries. And so, but with Pisces, you could really be tricked. Now, I think you'll see things a little bit more straightforwardly and clearly. And if it doesn't benefit you, Aries wants the big benefit. If it doesn't benefit me, then I'm not joining this cult. I don't know if you guys remember, I might have just said it on my members only video, but I just recently lost a dear, dear friend to a religious cult. For real, a dear, dear friend. And they are in this cult deep, like they're going to lose absolutely everything, including their big fancy job, because they have to be obedient to the cult leader. I can't even believe how it happened. I think it happened through the grief of the death of their parent, and they were susceptible to it. I'll have to look at their chart. But anyways, I want you to navigate the realms of reality. With this placement, I don't think you'll come underneath someone, but it can happen because it is Neptune. So there is also intellectual and higher learning that is wanting to find you right now. So don't be shocked if your, whole entire mind has a paradigm shift right now. And I really want you to embrace, astrology, psychology, philosophy, biology, botany, like just all the ways in which you can connect to others who are different than you. It's quite a lovely placement, to be honest. I like it. It's double fire. So it's big, booming, loud, it's sticks of dynamite, my friend. Be careful with yourself, love yourself, and know that you can really be a great force of inspiration in the world. Okay, so Neptune at 0 degrees, Aries in the 10th. Whoa, you are stepping into the great healing properties of life, and really think about the Neptunian values, characteristics, and traits. And by the way, if you have this placement, or if you have Neptune at that 0 degrees Aries and it's close to your midhaven, you definitely should go to Shop Soul Navigation and buy my Neptune workshop and go deep into the realms of understanding Neptune. Your spirit, your soul, your spiritual work becomes your calling. It becomes your legacy. What is that? That is the way that you love, the way that you help others heal, the way that you lead and guide with compassion, empathy, sympathy, kindness. This becomes you. You embody this in the world. You become a great maverick healer, guardian angel for the world, and you become remembered for it. There is an opportunity for you to step into your spiritual maturity, your wisdom, getting out of your ego. So here's an example. I was working with a person yesterday. They found out a secret. They wanted to go blast this secret that was told to the person who told it. And I said, but that's just the ego's work. The wisdom is to hold the secret in your heart. Know the person has told this secret about you. Live with it. Live with it inside of you. Don't let it wreck you. Just know that you now need to maneuver. You need to operate. Knowing that this person betrayed you, you need to operate differently. But you don't need to go put them on blast. Stand in the maturity. This placement will have you be the better person for doing the harder thing. Did you hear that? Will have you being the better person for doing the harder thing. This is spiritual responsibility. I'm not trying to ever play God with you. I don't think of myself that way. I'm trying to figure out the answers on this journey, and I don't even promise enlightenment, nor do I expect it at the end of the journey. I think it takes many, many lifetimes. But I will promise you that I am authentic, genuine, compassionate, and very, very real and vulnerable with you. This is spiritual responsibility, realizing I'm not the guru, I'm not the God, right? I am the creator of my life, and I am a co-creator with the divine creator. And I also think that this gives you sort of a devotion to yourself, to your calling, to your spiritual gifts, to putting your spiritual gifts on the stage of life, to sharing them with the world. So what do you want to do for yourself? How do you want to be remembered, if at all? You know, Richard Chamberlain, he was born in like the 30s or 40s, and he did the Thornbirds. I don't know if anybody's my age and you remember that, but he was just like Hollywood's god for a while. Well, he just passed away, and they asked him in his last interview with Rolling Stone or something, how do you want to be remembered? And he laughed and he laughed and he laughed. And by the way, it was a mini series in the 1970s, and it was called the Thornbirds, and it was so damn good. And we watched it every single week, and you know, we were just salivating watching it. And he played this really, really tormented priest between doing the right thing, being gay, being a priest. I mean, it was just so brutal. It just like tore your heart apart because he could not live his authentic truth out loud. And you suffered with him in silence. They asked Richard Chamberlain in his last interview, you can go Google it, how do you want to be remembered? This was a while ago. He just passed away a couple days ago. It's really broke my heart. But he said, that's hilarious. I don't intend on being remembered. I don't have that desire. I thought, wow. Here I am remembering him for not wanting to be remembered. Do you see the irony, right? He will be remembered. He doesn't want to tell people how to remember him. And the humility around not even thinking that he would be remembered. He has changed so many people's lives. Look him up, Richard Chamberlain. He is absolutely amazing. If you're young, you probably don't know who he is. But he was a heartthrob, but he was also massively inspiring. I think he moved to Hawaii and he said, I've retired from acting and I've become a professional beach bum or something like that. It was funny. There's a spiritual maturity that Neptune in Aries wants to help you find. You are going to blaze new trails around who you're going to become in the next 13 years. It's going to be something different. Let me give you an example. My dad worked for the United Nations for many, many years. He served as a diplomat, and he helped build airports in third world countries in Southeast Asia and Africa. And he helped build the airport in Cambodia, Phnom Penh, and he was stationed there for 3 years, and he lived in Bangkok, Thailand for 10. So that's why I've spent time in Cambodia and Thailand. Anyway, saying all of that, while my dad was passing away, I said, isn't it funny, Dad, you know, you thought your greatest work was helping build these airports in third world countries and helping bring like commerce and tourism and business to these third world countries so they could prosper. And by the way, that's no small thing. I mean, that is huge. That's more than what most people do. But in truth, I think what the most beautiful gift you're leaving this earth is that you have 4 out of 4 children that love and adore and admire and respect you, and even in some way want to be you. Wow. Who gets to say that? 100% of my children all feel that about me. It's remarkable. And so this is sort of a Neptune in the 10th, where I thought my mission was this, like Jane Goodall, I thought my mission is to understand chimpanzees and gorillas and apes and monkeys. And really what I did was I taught, demonstrated, and showed the world the power of love through the ape world, right? It's really deep. It's like you think you're doing one thing, but really that's just a vehicle in which you're doing this other thing. And so it's discovering the devotion that you have to your unwavering path, because Aries in the 10th is unwavering. Aries in the 10th is just so doggone determined, right? It's like the bull rider. I am not falling off this bull. I will die before I fall off this bull. I'm not falling off. I am doing this until my death. There's a ferocity with ambition, with success, with landing on top, with being fully charged. And so I want to ask you, if you have 0 degrees Aries in the 10th house, wow, you're about to find a new spiritual wisdom, a new spiritual calling. And I also think through this, if you do it altruistically, not for fame and not for money and not for success and not for reward, not to be on the cover of a magazine, but you come from an authentic place, wow, how that changes the soul. You're removing the ego from your calling. And so I think you will become incensed and disgusted with other people who can't do that or don't do that. Other people who do this job just for money, just for fame, just for power. Like that is going to disgust you if it hasn't already. Like it is going to be revolting and maybe cause a revolt for you. You have a real opportunity to be a champion for your own spiritual calling that could very well change the world. So let's talk about, was I preaching? Was I preaching? Oh my God. Oh my God. Forgive me. I get so passionate sometimes. Like, I don't know how, but I like download the energy inside my body and then I feel it. I don't have this particular placement, but I really, really understand it. And I see how so many people, I just want to say one other thing. I'm going to preach just one other little tiny minute for Neptune in, transiting the 10th in Aries. So many people have sold out for money. And this placement, especially with Aries, just won't let you. So it's almost like, I don't want to be paid in money. I want to be paid in, I don't know, something Neptunian, hopefully not drugs and alcohol, but, or tickets to the game, but maybe tickets to the game, something Neptunian. Like if I made a difference, I don't know, maybe you're working for St. Jude's Hospital or something, or Children's Hospital. If I made a difference with one person, I feel paid. I feel fulfilled. I feel accomplished. And I kind of can relate a little bit. I have a very strong Neptune in my chart, but it's just not in this placement. If one of my videos has resonated with you, if I have changed your perspective, your mind, your heart, your life, if I have helped you find forgiveness or love or compassion or empathy at a deeper level, if I have done any positive thing for your life, I feel so grateful. I feel grateful for my teachers. I feel grateful for having been put on this path. Did you see how I got put on this path? The deception, the lies, the trickery. If you're a member, I want to say thank you. If not, please become a super supporter. And you can go watch my personal videos where I talk about my personal life. I talk about how astrology found me. And it was just god awful. It was horrible. I tell the whole story in my members only videos. So please become a member. It's only 10 cents a day. It helps me do these videos. It helps us keep the channel alive and all the behind the scenes. And I'm so, so grateful. That was so painful. It was so much fraud and I lost money and it was terrible. I lost myself inside the experience. But look at what I found. I found that light in the darkness. I found that piece of bread on the street when I was starving, if you will, metaphorically. It brought me to you and it brought me into myself and it brought me into my higher self. This is the power of Neptune in Aries and Neptune in Aries in the 10th. Now, I don't have that again. I don't have that, but this is very much like that. Okay, let's move into the 11th. Neptune in the 11th is very interesting because this is somebody who keeps faith inside an entire community or world that feels like it's inside darkness. So it feels like the lights are going out and this little Neptune Aries, 0-degree Aries person with it in the 11th is like, I'll leave the light on for you. So developing faith in self, in your community, and in the future where there is none. What is developing faith? What is faith? Faith is believing in goodness when you see none around you. Are you good at that? Just tell me. Where do you have Neptune and are you good at that? Are you good at believing in the goodness when you see none? I'm not going to answer that question because I want you to. And be honest. Do you know how hard that is? That's an 11th house Neptune, and that is a 0 degrees Aries Neptune in the 11th by transit. There's an advanced intelligence. There's an opportunity to advance your intelligence with the 0 degrees Neptune in the 11th house by transit. There is a spiritual awakening here. You are a creator. You are an inventor of something. And that invention, that creation can lend light, faith, hope, value to others, to your whole community. I want to tell you that you can also be a great liberator. You might see a lot of ignorance around you. Now, I'm not saying to go on the mountaintop and preach all your beliefs and preach everything and you're just going to convert everybody to whatever it is you believe. But I am telling you that there is a desire for you to understand the truth at a higher expression, to understand maybe what the journey to enlightenment or the fifth dimension is, to embrace all societies, all communities, all layers of people, all varieties, right? And to help all those differences collectively come together for the betterment of humanity, the betterment of civilization, the betterment of society. I also want to tell you that you could end up losing. Neptune oftentimes erodes. Just go back and watch my 8th house. In this video, go watch what I said about the 8th house and go watch what I said about the 5th house. You lose something to birth something. And so you might be losing a certain type or a certain group of friends. It might not be deep enough for you. It might not be elevated enough. You might be on a different train track. You might be over here. They might not like you for not believing in what they believe in. It's okay because you will find your soul tribe. You will find your people. You're here to honestly learn at this time for the next 13 years learned how to blend, how to mix in, blend, and become the highest version of yourself. This is a highly intellectual, very smart house. Spiritual awareness, emotional awareness, and intelligence, I should say. So spiritual and emotional awareness with intelligence. The great question is, does this action, does this cause, does this creation, does this innovation that I am doing benefit every person? Does it benefit man and womankind? And if the answer is yes, lean into it. And if it only benefits a few, it might not be the actual thing that you're supposed to do because it's Neptune. And so it's like, I don't know, let's say the person who invented the bathtub. I would say that invention benefits all people, the concept of taking a bath and the bathtub. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, this is massively big. So standing in the real dream of life, standing in utopia, standing in what will benefit all is really a big part of Neptune in the 11th. And now you're a pioneer. Now you have the power to actually begin to enlighten other people, to influence and enlighten others. Now, it can feel lonely because your ego is going to probably be dismantled or shed a little bit. And you are adjusting to new rhythms in life where you're taking on a different role. You have to realize that this house is the higher octave of Mercury. So this is the high mind. It is very lonely living with a very high mind. It is super lonely when everybody around you is just talking about inane, stupid things that you don't care about. When you want to think about things that will change planet Earth or the world or humanity, seeing the special need inside of every one of us, and then speaking to that need. It's a very beautiful placement. I'll tell you though, if you get too intellectually superior or detached from reality or too out there or too advanced, then nobody can relate to you and you become an alien, right? And so finding the right size for your innovations, your creative thought process, and your ideas. This is the house of ideas. So you might not actually get a patent on a new kind of wheel. You have made a new kind of thought discovery. Are you reading Substack? There's so many intellectual writers on Substack. I hope you guys are all really reading great articles on Substack. I find that is sort of an intellectual salon, if you will. I want to tell you that you can be a great, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, pioneering maverick as a community organizer. I also think you could run for elected office with this placement and really, really, really change the lives of people around you. So, I mean, maybe you just want to be a volunteer down at the library, or maybe, I don't know what you want to do. Maybe you have time to volunteer your services in some way, or maybe you want to work at the community level, or maybe you want to work at the state level, or maybe you want to work at the federal level, or maybe you want to work at the international level. Maybe you want to be a Doctors Without Borders, where you help people survive in third world countries that don't have all the same resources as maybe your country does. But there is a brilliance and a uniqueness here with what you can do in the power of, you can move your whole community. You can move them, emotionally inspire them, and move them. Really big. It's huge. It's a lot like the 10th house. You just have to be careful to not be too self-righteous in your way is the only way and the right way. No, you're just going to do your thing. And those who want to come into your community and come into your group and learn with you, great. That's what we do here at Soul Navigation. I'm not trying to convince people who don't already know astrology. That's why I like doing deep astrology, because I get people who already know enough to sit on this channel and listen to a video about 0 degrees Neptune in Aries, right? Like a person who doesn't believe in astrology doesn't even know what that means at all. So that's why I love this community so much. And by the way, I cannot wait to meet you guys in Seattle on May 15th. I cannot wait. I can't wait to give you a big hug and say hello and look at you in the eyes and teach you this incredible curriculum that I've got in store for you. I cannot wait. And I just also want to say thank you for becoming a member. Please join the channel. Please like the video. I don't know why, but my videos are getting about 2,000 less views a month. It's kind of breaking my heart. And so I really need to push out the videos. So if you could help me, that would be great. Let's talk about Neptune at 0 degrees Aries in the 12th house. This is, Neptune's natal house. It likes being here, but it doesn't really like having Aries here. And it has us dealing with our unconscious mind, our subconscious, that which we cannot see, but we know. And we're asked to go deep, deep, deep within ourselves to understand ourselves better and to heal old wounds, even wounds from past lives, and to deepen our relationship to our souls. Right now, you're being asked to find a greater fulfillment in the existence of your life. You might feel this this enormous ache inside of you that you are incomplete or you are not good enough. There might be a chronic reminder that there is more to life than whatever you have so far discovered. But now you are going to have the headlamp on and you are going down into the crystal cave and you are going to see, all the stalactites, right? And you're going to see all those hanging crystals. And you are here now to figure out what is the massive point of all of this. What is the point of our existence? What is the point of my existence? Is it to sit here and teach you astrology? It might be. Is it to become a great mother, a great daughter, a great person? Is it to spread joy and love? I think so. I want to tell you a secret with this placement. This placement can be extraordinarily painful because it can just be so massively big and so daunting that you can be frozen with fear. You might even see that it's painful to grow spiritually. Why is it painful? Why is it painful to grow spiritually? Because you don't operate your life with ego anymore. You come from a deeper core. You come from your soul. And guess how many people you meet on a daily basis that are coming from their soul? Not very many. And so it's lonely and it's alienating. And you walk into the house and I don't know, somebody's playing Wheel of Fortune. And you're like, that's not my soul's work. That's not my soul's calling. I don't want to watch that. I don't like that. I don't want to watch that. That show is, stupid. Let's just say, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying maybe you feel that gap between like what you're getting served up, hot dogs for dinner, when you don't eat meat, that gap between that which you know is right, that which you seek, that which you crave, that which you desire, and then what you're being delivered becomes unbearable. And the reason why it becomes unbearable is because you're still in the ego. When you let go of the ego, you don't care if they're playing Wheel of Fortune or serving hot dogs at night. You can just go right by it and let them enjoy right where they're at. Like you do you. You eat your hot dog. You watch your game show. I'm going to do me. And it doesn't mean I'm separate from you. I'll still love you in your space. But the process can feel emotionally isolating. And it can feel almost too painful to even do. Because once you develop your soul, when you have a developed soul, you cannot undevelop it. Once you grow your knowledge, you cannot ungrow it. I don't know how to say it. You cannot unlearn it. Even if you have dementia, you don't remember it. It's still inside of you. But you can feel very lost and invisible with this, or you can feel like you have to hibernate or become invisible. And so let's talk about when this goes well, and with Aries being a real champion for, fighting for the rights of others, saving self, saving the world. Aries is the crusader. So this is the spiritual crusader, crusading for justice, crusading for might, crusading for rights, crusading for our will. And so now it's in this like unconditional love house. And so now your weapon is not a sword. It is compassion. I come with peace. I come with love. There's a return to self. There's a return to God. There's a return to home with this placement. So it can sometimes feel and bring endings, losses, isolation. You might be hospitalized for some reason, God forbid, but inside that hospitalization, you go deep within. So I do want you to find the light in the dark, especially with this placement. And that is what Neptune and Aries is doing, but it can be exceptionally lonely and dark. You might be dancing with endings, but just know you will be also ushering in new beginnings. The one thing that stays permanently true is everything is always changing. That's this house. And so it's the life of the ironic. You are a rescuer, a healer, a transformer, a savior with this placement. And you will see that other people really sincerely need saving. And you're in the lifeboat with other people falling into your life raft. And they make you captain and commander of the lifeboat. And you're like, wait a minute, I don't even know how to work this thing. Well, now you do, because you're going to figure it out, because you got all these souls to save and you don't dare let them die. Holding this vastness of infinite love for others. I mean, it's extraordinary, isn't it? Painful, just the thought of it. And it's really hard to not be crushed by the enormity of the potential power inside this placement. It's really, really remarkable and super special. And if you've been chosen to have this 0 degrees Neptune transiting your 12th house, my God, I mean, you are a chosen one to lead the battle, lead the charge, lead the force. You don't even want to. You just probably want to go crawl in a hole. No, it's Aries, my friend. You're on the front line. You're inspiring. You're the beacon. You're the captain and the commander of this ship, and this ship doesn't dare go down. I think that you'll also see that you're going to let go of things that have no mercy. You are going to let go of things that have no grace or graciousness or kindness. You will not. You will refuse with this Aries placement to stand inside of the muck and the mire and the relationships where people just want to harm themselves or hurt themselves or not face their lives truthfully. I mean, it's like you've had it. You've absolutely had it. And I think you're really going to find that you're going to have serious, tough love and serious, tough conversations with people that may have taken advantage of themselves or you or your family or life. And like, you're the cold shower. You're the reality check. You know, Neptune in the 12th can really be filled with illusions and delusions. And I mean, they can be like checked out. But with Aries here, I think it makes it quite sobering. Remember what I asked you earlier in this video. What does fire tolerate? Nothing. It incinerates everything. It literally is the great incinerator. So there's a great intolerance with those that cannot help themselves, and you can no longer abuse me and my kindness. You can no longer use me, hurt me for your gain. I mean, you're not going to have it. So yes, there's unconditional love, and there's this, the wind beneath my wings, and there's this beauty and all that, but there's taking a stance for myself too, because I know my goodness. I don't have this placement. I'm just saying if I did, I know my goodness. I know my virtues. I know my spiritual power, influence, ability to heal self and others. I choose to share it with you. If you can do that for yourself too, a little bit, I will help you. I will help you in your journey, but I won't give you all of me. I won't give you all the answers, but I will assist you. I will guide you. I will hold your hand and I will help you. So drawing good boundaries is absolutely critical. You're going to have to draw good boundaries with this placement. This placement is going to force you into good boundaries. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? Somebody's going to try to take advantage of your boundaries, because the only reason why you draw good boundaries is because you have to. You're not born drawing good boundaries. As a matter of fact, you're born with shit boundaries. You're putting chocolate pudding on the cupboards. You know, you're spilling your milk on the couch. Whee! You know, you have no boundaries. You don't know what a boundary is until you have to. And so drawing the boundaries is really, really important. And this is like spiritual wisdom. I do wonder if you will have an out-of-body experience with this. You could have an NDE, near-death experience. You could have an out-of-body experience. You could really connect and communicate with spirit. You could develop clairvoyance, clairaudience, intuition, intuitiveness. You could find the magic, see the magic, be the magic, make the magic, create the magic. I want you to go listen to what I said about Neptune and Aries in the 4th house, because it's very similar, and Neptune in the 8th house too, because these houses are in positive aspect to your 12th house. So you guys, that's another really good way to think about this. So if you've got this in the 12th house, the 4th and the 8th are supporting you. The 6th is opposing you. The 9th and the 3rd are challenging you. The 9th and the 3rd house are challenging this placement. So think about the astrological wheel that way too. Like, which houses are supporting me and which houses are against me? It's really important. I hope you like this video. It was kind of fun to do. I liked stepping into the thoughts of Neptune. I love Neptune. Please go get my Neptune workshop that I did in Spain. It was my very favorite. I think it was my very favorite subject to teach. It was my very favorite workshop to teach. I don't know why, maybe because it was Neptune and I channeled Pavarotti. It's really, really fun. And I hope that you will also look at the Soul's Design report, the Unique Chart Rulers report, the Child's report. That's great for adults too. I absolutely loved it. And I also recommended earlier that you get the starter package if you haven't already. And you can get all of that at Shop Soul Navigation. Of course, you can get tickets to my workshop in Seattle. I can't wait to meet. So many of you are coming. I'm so excited. We have 4 more tickets available. Please like and subscribe, join the channel, and most of all, just know that I really love being here with you. Wherever you live at in the world, I hope that this video finds you well and happy in your own life.